Thanks for listening to the Underdog Podcast presented by the Riley Decker Companies. Please do us a favor and help us change and improve lives by subscribing and giving us a rating on the platform of your choice. Thank you. Well, we have a special guest today. Want to welcome Mike Nichols. Welcome to the Underdog Podcast.
Hey, Kyle. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you go, I know some people call you Mikey, some call you Mike. What do you prefer?
You can really call me whatever you want. I've been called much worse. So Mike, Mikey, anything's fine with me.
Well, I know you're a Jets fan. I'm a Browns fan. So I know we've been through some adversity with our NFL team. So I think we can at least bond over that. So
yeah, I think we could both agree that we were born losers. We're probably going to die losers with our football teams.
Yeah, it's been an interesting NFL season to date, and should be an interesting close. But anyway, we're here to talk about a different set of adversity. And Mike's story is incredibly inspirational. To give a quick little background, obviously want you to lead from there. But on January 4th, 2014, Mike here was playing as a senior forward for the Falcons of Middlesex County's Monroe Township High School when he suffered an injury. He fractured his C5 vertebrae, which would end up leaving him paralyzed and change his life forever. And can you take us back? And once again, this is the Underdog Podcast, how to overcome adversity. And you were just a normal high school kid playing hockey. You know, I played 3 sports. I can't imagine just playing a sport and then obviously my life changing. That's happened to a lot of our guests that we've had on. So can you kind of take us back to playing hockey and the event, and we'll build from there?
Yeah, it was just a regular day, just another high school hockey game. I was just playing my hardest. Whenever, you play the sport of hockey, there's always danger involved. There's always physicality involved. But it just so happened to be on that day, I got hit from behind, and the kid fell on top of me when I was sliding into the boards, which you said fractured my C5 vertebrae. I remember just lying on the ice, and then one of my best friends came over to me, and he was like, "Mike, you all right?" And I was like, "I'm fine. I just can't move." He's like, "What?" It's like, "I'm fine. I just can't move." And then that was the beginning of a long journey for me. I ended up getting airlifted to the hospital from the rink. Suffered a stroke shortly after it. So it's been a long road, but sometimes the scenic route is the best route.
Yeah, and I think you said here a quote, the world never needed me on hockey skates. It needed me in a wheelchair. My fight won't be over until there aren't any more wheelchairs. So kind of go back to, you feel obviously the why wasn't you to potentially be in the NFL. Like you said, it was be in the wheelchair to work inevitably to get out of one and try to make, just like Eric LeGrand, a guest of ours, wheelchairs non-existent. Can you kind of talk about when you realized, obviously that's a tremendous amount of adversity. Once again, you're just playing hockey, you get checked in the back, you go into the boards, and then you end up, being paralyzed. And when did you're able to get to that mindset? Because that's incredibly tough to think about. Like all of a sudden you have to realize that you are in that state and working your way out of it.
Yeah. So, it took me a little while to get to that mindset, because at the time of my injury, I was just a 17-year-old kid, right? I was still immature. I didn't even graduate high school yet. So, and when Eric came to see me the first few times, that was a mantra that he echoed to me a lot, that we are spokespeople. We are fighting for people like ourselves. And at that point in time, when I was just in rehab starting my physical therapy place, I was fighting for myself. I was fighting for my life, right? Shortly after, when I really started to notice the impact that I've made on people, was one of my former ice hockey coaches had a Restore the Shore charity hockey tournament for me. And it used to be Restore the Shore. For Hurricane Sandy, when I played in, it was always a charity tournament. Now he's changed it to the Mikey Strong tournament. And I had these little kids, like mites, like they're like 8 years old, coming up to me, telling me how much I inspire them, how strong I am, and that, you know, they just want to be me when they grow up. And I've never had anyone tell me they want to be me when, you know, they grow up. And I remember there was one boy who he saved up his allowance and he brought it in an envelope. And I was like, here, I want to donate to your cause. And I was like, whoa, like it was so surreal. And then kind of the older and more mature I got, and then from speaking with Boomer Esiason, Craig Carton, Greg Giannotti with the charity hockey game we do with them and the New Jersey Devils, they've helped elevate my platform, but they've opened my eyes to all the good that I can do in this world and all the people that need help. Because I saw the people that were in less fortunate circumstances than I was when I was just in rehabilitation, because I was blessed to have a great support system. I'm lucky that there's been so much fundraising for me at the time of my injury, and still, you know, not everyone has that. And I really started to notice that what I could really do to help people in my situation that don't have it that good. The older I got, I'd say it started with that tournament, and then it really kind of went full drive at the first Boomer. First, it was the Boomer and Carton charity hockey game. That was the Boomer and Geo, Mikey Strong charity hockey game. But that first charity hockey game really opened my eyes to it.
Yeah, and I've watched some of your social media and tasks, as I've learned through folks that have experienced being paralyzed like yourself, is like flipping a page of a book. I saw that on your Instagram, you know, just getting, you know, some of your fingers to move in a different way are what someone maybe like myself takes for granted, where now you've obviously experienced the loss of that and fighting back for it. Can you go through maybe someone like myself that might not fully understand that scope of independence? And maybe it's a good blessing for us to have you on this platform to kind of, you know, show the perseverance, right? How do you, get up and fight? Like, what's the mindset? I know you've been through that adversity. Is there anything that I call them knowledge nuggets that could be tangible for our audience to say, hey, listen, here's a way, man, when adversity hits you, this is how you face it?
I mean, first and foremost with me, the way I handle adversity is I don't deny it. If I'm having negative feelings, if I'm having negative thoughts, if I'm feeling that adversity, whether it be I'm feeling sad, whether it be I'm feeling anxious, or just I have something that I need to overcome, I never deny it. You know, at first I really tried to kind of push it off, hide it, but now I've realized I never deny it, and I just use it as fuel. You know, I allow myself to kind of be vulnerable to those feelings because I believe those feelings are real and they're raw. And if you're able to kind of use those negative feelings and turn them into a sort of fuel in a sense of the word, it's taken me a really long way. Because previously, when like I have problems with mental health just like everyone else does. I have problems with anxiety, and previously, you know, I've let it debilitate me, and sometimes it still does. Of course, everyone has those bad days, but it's a bad hour. It's not a bad day, right? Once you get past it, you still have X, Y, and Z that you can get past. And, you know, once you get past it, it's just something else that you overcame. It's just something else that you can keep fighting for. And, you know, for me, it's just one step at a time, and another day is another fight to be made. So I'm lucky that I'm in the situation I am with the support I am in. And I appreciate every second of life that I have on the bad days and the good days, because it's the one life we have, and it's the one life that we have to make best.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, don't deny it. Use it as fuel. I think that's a great takeaway. You also talk about a quote from Albert Einstein: adversity introduces a man to himself. You know, yeah. What does that quote by Albert Einstein? I mean, obviously adversity introduced, you feel like that has, you know, introduced yourself to the real Mike Nichols, that you know yourself now better than you would ever had known him?
Exactly. For the most part. Well, you could take that quote. I love that quote for kind of a multitude of reasons. One, for the most literal reason, adversity introduces you to the man, right? I was a kid when I broke my neck. I like to say I just grew my first chest hair. I was 17 years old, and it's kind of adversity forced me to grow up very quickly, forced me to kind of grow into the man I am today, the young man I am today. But also, adversity shows you the true character that you have within you. Adversity will put you into that fight or flight mode, and sometimes the only option is to fight, and that's okay. Adversity has introduced me to the person that I truly am today. A lot of my life, I've kind of only viewed myself as an athlete. You get asked on the first day of school, "Oh, what's your name? What do you do? How do you describe yourself?" I'm Mike. I play hockey. That's it, right? Now, it's like, what do you do? I'm Mike. I'm an advocate. I'm a philanthropist for charitable organizations, and I'm still trying to find more identities for myself, more things that I can identify with, because I'm always going to feel like the hockey player at the end of the day. But I've learned so many other skills that I have from this adversity that I never would have thought of. I never would have thought of myself as, an inspiration, someone that could help raise money for charities, and not only for myself. I never thought of that. The only thing I cared of was, if we're gonna win, if there's a cute girl in my class, I was a little kid. Now it's a man, and that adversity changes your mindset and your perspective on a lot of things. And like I said, I don't deny it, and I'm grateful for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Supposedly you were, chasing girls in the hallway, listening to some music with one of your old teachers that you end up having a close relationship with, Joseph Rooney.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect segue to, some of the different great things that you're part of. And can you explain who Joseph Rooney is? And, being a former teacher, I know I was giving you a hard time there because I know you guys kind of bonded over, sounds like some old school rap music, and
Yep.
you were beatboxing in the hallway a lot of times when you first met him. So can you explain, how great of an impact he's been, and the great things you guys are doing together?
Yeah. So it was funny. Joe Rooney, he was just a teacher in high school. He was never actually my own teacher. I just maybe like to take an extra lap or two around the halls before I got to class. And, I would always have my headphones in, and I'd be rapping and bopping my head, whatever it is. And one day he asked me, "What are you listening to?" And whether it be Wu-Tang Clan or Big L, I just told him what it was. He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And we formed a bond ever since. And just a few years ago, he was talking about, I would love to do a marathon with you, and I was like, "You're crazy, get out of here." He's like, "Nah, I would push you." Yeah, I was like, "Me? I'm 100-something pounds and the chair. You're gonna push me?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll push you." And we turned that idea into doing the New York City Marathon, raising money for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. But the impact that Joe Rooney has made on me, I really don't have words to describe it. He was just a teacher. He went from a teacher to a friend to a big brother. He's literally taken on my mission and made it his. And he's running, and he's telling me during the race, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta get surgery on my ACL after this." It's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, man, we gotta get the marathon done first. It's things that are more important, right?" He's like, "Can't stop till there's a world without wheelchairs." And it's incredibly touching to see, like, like I said, he's like my big brother right now. I can go to him for anything I need, any help, and he's turned my mission into his mission. Now he has his own adventures that he's doing, raising money for me and spinal cord injury also. And he's just an amazing man, an amazing person. And like, I'm incredibly blessed to have him in my life. And, he's a little crazy. I wouldn't want to run a marathon personally, and I wouldn't want to run a marathon pushing someone, but I am so grateful that he gave me that opportunity, because I think he I know it made him very happy, doing it with me. And I'm pretty sure it made him really happy knowing that the effect that it had on me. When we were running, just practicing, I liked like putting like my hands out in the wind, and like when you're riding a bicycle, you'd be able to take your hands off, just put them up. And that was the first time I felt that since before my injury, and it was a surreal feeling. I'm incredibly grateful for Joe Rooney, and for me to be for him to be my coworker now. It's a kind of weird, but it's really cool.
Yeah, what a blessing Joe Rooney is, and more power to him. You talked about earlier and with Joe Rooney, but the Mikey Strong charity game. I know looks like you have a golf outing, Nichols Family Trust, and obviously you help with the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. Can you talk about the drive between you, and we've had even the likes of Lily Rice to Eric LeGrand, and everyone is united in trying to get rid of wheelchairs. Can you talk about the philanthropy piece, as you had mentioned, of what you're doing in the overall strategy and drive to make that goal achievable?
Yeah, with philanthropy, a lot of people think charitable organizations, the most important thing, first and foremost, is money, donations, right? I tell people, listen, if you listen to me and listen to what I'm saying, and you're willing to stop, think about the world that we live in and how it can be changed, that's the most important thing. My strategy is to change someone's day and change someone's thought. Yeah, the donation is absolutely amazing, and it goes a very long way. But I think back to before my injury, I was incredibly naive, incredibly blinded to the life of someone with a disability, right? I like when I would go to games or go places, I would see a ramp next to stairs, and I'm like, why is there a ramp next to stairs? All right, I guess I'm gonna just run up it instead, right? Now I realize, okay, there's a ramp, so handicapped people like myself can go up. So my strategy with charity and philanthropy, whenever I do any kind of speaking with people at events, it's just be honest, be real, and give them the truth, because I don't like to sugarcoat things. And I don't like to lie either, because if I'm lying to someone who's supporting me, I feel like I'm doing them a injustice. So it's just give them the truth, be real with them, and just tell them that where we came from too, because it hasn't been that long ago since the American with Disabilities Act was signed. I believe that was signed in the 90s. President George H.W. Bush signed that, and that was 20 years ago. 25 years ago. Not that long ago. So we've come so far in such a little time, and I'm just following in the tracks of people like Eric LeGrand and Christopher Reeve, and I have great people to learn from, and just be real, be honest, and let my story speak for itself.
No, absolutely, and it is, man. It is for sure. We're out of curiosity. What are your fundraising goals? Is there a specific dollar you try to accomplish? Is there a total amount? I know there's different ones that were mentioned, kind of overall funding, but out of curiosity, is there certain goal that you're specifically going after? Or
so I don't have a specific numerical goal every year. My only goal is that we improve every year.
Yep.
That's it. Usually, for me, you want to get a little bit bigger. You want to get a little bit better. I want to have more people showing up. I want to have more people having a good time, and just improving each and every year, and having the people that were there the first year, the fifth year, come back the 10th year, the 15th year, and just being there for you. The goal is that people don't forget the fight, and people don't forget what this cause is and what it's about. And at the end of the day, as long as people are willing to listen, with like heavy hearts, open minds, that's the most important thing to me. A numeric goal isn't really set in my mind all too much.
Yeah, no, appreciate you sharing that. I love just to kind of it's been a while, but we kind of do rapid fire, and we haven't done it for a minute. But I was curious. I found some things I wanted to kind of rapid fire, fun things. I think so. Falcon tattoo. If I saw correctly, you just got a falcon tattoo. What's the meaning and design behind that?
Yeah, so I got a falcon flying in front of the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm from Brooklyn. I was born in Kennington, Brooklyn, and then moved to Monroe, New Jersey, and Monroe is the Falcons. So I'm very where I came from, and is a big part of who I am today. I wouldn't be in this situation without the Township of Monroe, and Monroe is the Falcons. That's their that's our mascot, whatever. Whenever I was a little boy, I remember one of a great family friends. He goes, "It never rains on a Falcon," and that always stuck with me. And I was like, "What do you mean it never rains on a Falcon?" And I still don't know exactly what it means, to be honest with you. But
I like it though.
But it's like I love it. Great saying. But it's like it's always like it might rain the day you're golf out. It never rains on a Falcon, coach. And
oh man, I love that.
It's just it's big because the township of Monroe is a great community, and they've rallied around me since my injury. And even before my injury, growing up in this town, I've been blessed with the people here that have been able to teach me. I'll never forget where I came from. No matter how far I go from Monroe, I'll never forget where we came from, because those humble beginnings are really make you the person that you are.
Yeah, I love it. We just had recently talked to a guy named Gary Miracle, and you said no bad days, right? And that's he just started a podcast called No Bad Days. But I guess where I'm going with it, it doesn't rain on a Falcon, right? You don't deny the adversity. You look it in the eye, but you don't let it take down your day, right? It might hit you, but now that to me is just such a common thread from people like yourself that have maybe been paralyzed or gone through a tragic event, that are now sustaining and moving forward in a positive fashion, impacting the world in a big way. Is you don't let it just saturate on you. You look it in the eye, you address it, you don't deny it, like you said, but then you're not letting the rain hit the Falcon. You're not letting your day to be bad, right? And man, that's just such an incredible mindset. Thank you for sharing that. Book recommendations. We talked about you flipping pages earlier on. Any book recommendations for us?
For me, I'm a big comic book guy first and foremost. So the first book I was able to read was Superman, Batman, Injustice, which was sweet. But for me, probably my favorite book that I've read is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I know it's a very popular book, but I'm more of a kind of a biography kind of guy. I like to read about stories, like stories of true people, not like kind of fictional events, but the stories and not the story. I'm sorry. The lessons that I got from The Alchemist was absolutely surreal. It's opened my eyes and made me think differently. I picked that book because, if I remember correctly, Steve Nash had a bunch of the players on the Brooklyn Nets read it before their season last season. And then they started calling their rookie Nick Claxton the Alchemist. So I was like, let me check out what this book is about. And I read it. It's by Paulo Coelho. Absolutely amazing. It's about a shepherd, and we just herd sheep, and it's about kind of his life's, I don't want to say life's mission, life journey is probably a better word, but it's an absolutely phenomenal book. It's an easy read, and that was definitely my favorite book that I've been able to read.
No, that's great. I'm always looking for book recommendations. I'll have to pick that one up and check it out. I do love. I'm a little bit like you. I do love true stories, and this podcast. But I love to understand someone's journey, and it definitely helps inspire me, or puts a different lens in my eyes to understand different perspectives, and everyone's different. Everyone has a value to this world, in my belief. So that's fantastic. I'll have to check that one out. All right, going back to the Jets, I got to bring it back up. Big football guy here. I've had a lot of football guests on the show. I know you talked about a lot of losing, but you are also, like me, an optimist, right? You always believe the best is ahead. I know in the back of your mind, I give my Browns and you give your Jets a hard time. I guess the question is let's just throw it out there. Is your new quarterback going to be able to get you to the winning ways?
Listen, I'll tell you what.
Is Zach Wilson the truth? I don't know.
If Zach Wilson leads the Jets to a Super Bowl, I may be a Mormon for a year. I may have to become Mormon, just like my man Zach Wilson. I don't know if he's the truth. I've seen a lot of flashes from him. He's a very talented guy. He can throw that ball 60 yards with a flick of a wrist, which is absolutely unreal. It's like some of the most talent I've seen from a Jets quarterback in a while. With most people in New York, it's all between the ears, right? And so we'll see how he handles the spotlight. Yeah, I think he's done well with the spotlight now. It's different. Going from Wyoming to New York is Utah to New York is a big difference. Like I don't even think he had his license before he came to New York. Probably shouldn't get it anyway. I don't know if Zach Wilson is this guy, but I'm pretty confident that Coach Robert Saleh is the guy to lead this team for the future.
Yeah. I like Coach Saleh. I think I like his demeanor. I like his mindset and his type of leadership. So yeah, I hope the best is the head for the Jets. I think when the Jets are good, it makes football real interesting. So all right, last question. We ask this out of every guest. Before you answer it, you have to agree to try to make it happen.
Okay.
All right, good. You believe in me. I like it. The rapport has been built, Mr. Mike. All right. So the question is, this is how we actually got to you. Who should we have on the Underdog Podcast? And obviously you have to make it happen, and why?
Great question. Has Denna Lang ever been on this podcast?
Nope.
I think Denna would be amazing. Why I think Denna should be on this podcast. First off, I got to stick within the hockey family, right? So she was a player for the Austin Pride in the NWHL, ended up suffering a spinal cord injury similar to myself. But Denna she is a beast, dude. She works so hard. She's in the gym almost like 5 days a week. She's working, and she makes Eric and I look soft. And she was the captain of the Princeton Tigers when she was in college. She's just not only she's an amazing girl, such a smart, empathetic lady. And I've been blessed to know her. And she's really someone that's going to give you a great story, and someone she's never going to back down from a fight, and I've seen it first and foremost. And also another reason why I think she'll be great is because she's one of the lucky few so far who has been implanted with the epidural stimulator, which is a big thing for the Christopher and Dana Reed Foundation. And so she has been working super hard with that, and she's made great strides. I know it's not going to stop. She's not going to stop. And I think that it'll be great for the listeners to hear about. I told you my goals for charitable things that I do this year, right? Well, the big idea, the epidural stimulator, that's the end result of spinal cord injury, right? So I think Denna can kind of show you what the light at the end of the tunnel may look like, is supposed to look like, and what she's doing to get there.
Wow. That is, we've had 108 episodes or something like that. That might be the best recommendation, and how you just rolled that thing out. Not only the recommendation, but the why. Impressive, Mike. Really, really appreciate that. Anything else, you want to leave upon? How does the listeners follow you? Websites, handles, anything you want to share?
Yeah, you go on Instagram or Twitter, you just go to _Nichs, Nichs. That's where you can follow me, Instagram or Twitter. Also add me on Facebook at Mike Nichols. I'm not on there as much, but I'm always, sending my updates out there. And, I'm just living the dream. That's all, day by day. So it's not the life I chose, but the one I was given. And I'm going to keep making the dealer reshuffle those cards until I get the hand that I want,
I love it, man. I freaking love it. I feel like I can run through a brick wall. Well, on behalf of the Underdog Podcast, Mike, I believe the best is ahead for you, and keep inspiring the world. I know you're inspiring me in the group here. So thank you so much for your time today.
Kyle, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to get my story out to your audience. It's really heartfelt.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks
so much,
for listening to the Underdog Podcast. Please subscribe and rate our podcast on the Apple and Google podcast apps. See you next week on the UDP.